Our countdown to kickoff coverage is continuing, and we're heading out to Jacksonville, Florida with Gene Fournette of the Florida Times-Union. We talked a few weeks ago, and Maurice Jones-Drew was still not reporting to camp. He ended his holdout. Now, we just had our fantasy draft for TYT Sports, and it's safe to say that Maurice Jones-Drew fell down a little bit because of his holdout. So from, I guess, that perspective and a Jaguars fan perspective, do you think that Maurice Jones-Drew will absolutely start week one?
No, definitely not. No, Mike Mularkey has been very consistent saying that Rashad Jennings will be the starter. He wants to see Maurice Jones-Drew go through his first fully padded practice today, just to gauge how much he will play. Right now, he's going to have the role of a third down back for this game against the Vikings, and what that means in terms of how many carries he will get it would be purely speculative at this point. But I would certainly expect him to get somewhere between 6 and 10 carries against the Vikings. But again, that's just a guess at this point. The biggest fear they have is that because they've jammed him with so much information, because remember, new playbook they just got on Sunday when he arrived here, and so their biggest fear is not what he can do physically, but how much information they've jammed into him, and that could possibly lead to a broken play on Sunday because he doesn't have the playbook totally down. That is their biggest fear with Jones-Drew on Sunday.
Let me ask you this. This is the first time since 2003 that Jack Del Rio is not on the sidelines for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and obviously the new playbook is instituted by a new coach, Mike Mularkey. What do you think he brings to this team, and what's been the biggest difference in camp between Jack Del Rio and Mularkey?
Well, the biggest difference is that it's a much more even-tempoed, consistent environment, professional environment. To be honest with you, I mean that's the first thing that jumps out at you is that there's a consistency in tempo that wasn't there when Jack was there. It was much more of Jack was much more up and down. I think what we'll see is that Mularkey was hired specifically to bring greater balance to this offense. This offense needs a passing game to complement a very fine running game.
Yep.
And between Mularkey and also, let's not forget, they've got like 5 coaches on this staff, including Mularkey, who have offensive coordinator experience in the NFL. So they've got a lot of the brain trust on offense is so much further along, so much better than what they had here last year. It's not even funny.
You just took the words out of my mouth, basically, because I was going to ask you about that passing game that was basically last in the NFL. They added Justin Blackmon, the number 5 overall pick in this year's draft. He had a solid sophomore season with, I believe, 111 receptions, and then his junior year, I believe he had 121 at Oklahoma State. But he has had some off-the-field issues. Those aside, do you think that he improves the passing game that much and could possibly put them, I don't know, maybe somewhere near the middle of the pack this year?
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly been evidence here in this preseason that Justin Blackmon's a tremendous leap forward to anything they had here last year. Got great. His hands are so strong. He's able to bring back down passes in traffic, and seems to have a knack, at least so far, for making yards after the catch. Now, those are preseason games. We'll see how it goes in the real games, but certainly this game up in Minnesota is one of the more winnable road games the Jaguars have on their schedule, and I think the expectations are for them to be able to go up there and take care of business.
You talked about the road game against Minnesota, in the offseason, and during this camp, it was announced that Jacksonville will basically become the London Jaguars. They have 4 home games, technically, if you want to say, in London over the next 4 years. Do you like or dislike this move by ownership?
I dislike it from the standpoint of having 4 of them. I think it would have been better. The Jaguars would have been much better served to limit it to 2, and then see how that goes. But committing 4 games to London, particularly at a time when the Jaguars presumably will be getting better and will be more of a playoff contender next year and in the succeeding years after that, I think taking away a a home game. Let's say when Gabbert's in his fourth and fifth year, if he's the guy that you presume you think he is when you drafted him, well, then he should be in starting his ascent as a quarterback in this league. And I know a lot of people don't think that he will, but if he does, then all of a sudden you're taking away a home game, and as we know, the difference between 9-7 and 10-6 in this league is quite often the difference between staying at home in the postseason and being in the playoffs. So no, I don't like it. I don't like it from a standpoint of a 4-year commitment. I think a 2-year commitment would have been plenty.
You talked about Blaine Gabbert, the man from the University of Missouri. How has he progressed this year? And is he, we talked about Justin Blackmon. Basically, how has he progressed this year?
Oh, he's made tremendous progress in terms of his footwork, in terms of his technique. But, because the thing that they've got to improve with Blaine is his accuracy. And part of improving your accuracy is really knowing where your check down guys are. And that's one area where he's taken a big, tremendous step forward from last year. So a lot of times, last year Blaine would need check downs because his receivers couldn't get open. Yeah. Well, now he's much more comfortable knowing where those guys are, and his drop backs. They've got his drop back steps to be a little bit more consistent now, where he's not, throwing off the wrong foot sometimes, because his accuracy, particularly on the short passes, just little passes in the flat, particularly to the left side, were not very good last year. And also, but the other thing you have to know too is that the presumption is this year he's got a better receiving core, so he's going to be able to find receivers open quicker than he did last year. So I just don't even think you can even begin to compare the Blaine Gabbert we saw last year with the one we're going to see this year. I'm not saying he's going to be a Pro Bowler or anything like that. I just think he's going to be a much more functional quarterback.
My last question for you, Gene. The over-under is set at 5.5 wins. What do you say to that?
I'm not a gambler, but if I was forced to bet a lot of money on that, I would take the over.
You think they reach 6 wins?
Yes. And in fact, I think they reach 7.
Is that a best case scenario if they reach 7?
No. I think a best case scenario would be like more like 8 or 9.